In this next exercise, I'd like to see us draw 3 boxes in single point perspective. One below the horizon, one above, and one right on the horizon. And to begin with, I'll start with my ruler and I'll make a horizon line. And this horizon line should be right about the middle of the paper, maybe a little high, just because we're accustomed to that. And it should be as parallel to the top edge of our paper as I can. I've made this drawing landscape. I'll put on my horizon line. This is going to be in single point perspective. So we're going to choose a center place and mark where our center is for our single point. Okay? And then to place these objects, I'll put 3 lines. And one of them I think I'll draw down here. I'll try to make sure my ruler is perpendicular or to the bottom edge, perpendicular to the line. And this is my first line. Now, in drawing 3D objects in perspective, single point perspective, there's rules to follow that will let your objects always turn out. One is every line that you draw either goes to the point, accurately goes to the point, is vertical compared to the horizontal or perpendicular to the horizontal line, the horizon line, or is in parallel with the horizon line. So by putting this edge here, I'm declaring that that's the front leading edge of whatever cube or rectangle I plan to draw. I also want to draw one that is above and below. So I'll draw another one here. I'll make them pretty good size. And I'll put my last one, just a little bit off, but on the top. So now I'm ready to begin. I'll start with the bottom one first. And I've noticed that if I want to get my line very accurate, if I take my pencil, since the round or the tip of my pencil is a little bit, rounded, it's not a perfect point, then it has a width, and that width can be offset from if I put along the rulers. But if I put my pencil on the point I want, put my ruler against that roundness, and offset the ruler a little bit at the other end, I can make some very accurate lines. Now I'm going to recommend that you make these lines quite faint except for where you want your box to be. Okay, so there's one. Now I have to draw them a little darker, just so that you can see them. There's 2. So I've got 2 lines here. I should have a third one for the top. In other words, I've defined one of the sides of my box. Now I'm going to define the top. So I've got a vertical line. I can decide that this side of the box is going to be this wide, and I'll make sure that my ruler is vertical. Go out here to the end of this drawing, or this line, make a vertical line. And from there, from any of these 2 places, I make a horizontal line. It has to be exactly horizontal and stops when it intersects the other line. It vectors back to my single point perspective. This line here, the same exact way. It must be parallel to the line I've just drawn. And as I draw it, it also intersects that line. You can probably see where this is going now. I hope you can. I'll move it where you can see it better. So I've got my 2 lines that are vertical, 2 lines that are horizontal, and now I'm putting in the third line that follows the single line perspective. Now this box that we're drawing is not going to be a wireframe, which means we're not going to have any of the inside lines. This line here has to be vertical, this one has to be horizontal. When I do this line, I'm watching this edge here. I want to see where my ruler is compared to my paper. I'm using my paper as a guide also to make sure things are vertical. When I draw this line, I watch to see that it ends about the right place, the end of this line. Again, I'll use the tip of my pencil, draw down, and I think my box is done. I'd like you to do the same for the other 2. Now, this line over here, if we consider it, I am going to have a line here and a line here. And another vertical line. Now I don't have the front of my box yet. So where is that? Well, we still have to follow our rules. Our rules say that it's a horizontal line, another horizontal line, parallel to the first. Oop, a little low. I'll put that up where you can see it better. And then I'll bring this down. Okay. Now, for this box, notice I have a top here, a side, and a front. But for this box, I have a front and a side, but no top or bottom. Why is that? Well, it's because the top is above the horizon and the bottom is below the horizon, which means we really can't see either one. And that way, our drawing is now true. We have one more to draw. You should be able to do this on your own. I'll lightly sketch in my line.